What is up, bodyweight exercise fans? In today's video, we're talking about training frequency and which one is the best when it comes to calisthenics, which one can you make the most gains with, the most progress with. But before I answer that, keep in mind that we also have a free over 30 calisthenics community nowadays. There is a lot more information about that in the top pinned comment. I have a video explaining what exactly this community is. There's a link you can click on and join us. So check that out. And back to today's topic, the best training frequency will vary anywhere between 3 and 6 times per week. Keeping in mind that, if you're in the lower and if you're doing something like 3 times per week, this is going to be a longer and more dense workout, which means that, it's also going to be a more tiring workout. Therefore, if you want something that is shorter and also leaves you more rejuvenated, I would recommend going to the higher end, something like 5 or 6 workouts. Now, all of these work, you just have to program them well and smart. But in the end, the best training frequency for you is going to be the one that is the most sustainable one, because the best progress always comes from what you can do consistently for a long amount of time. This is why today I'll be sharing a 3, 4, 5, and 6 workout per week training outline with you. There are timestamps again below. You can click on the training frequency you prefer if you want to jump a bit ahead. That being said, let's get started. Now, training 3 times per week can be ideal also for people that like to do other stuff, that like to alternate their strength-oriented calisthenics workout with stuff like maybe martial arts or other sports and hobbies you might have, with a rocking session, with a hiking session, with jogging, with swimming. So, for people who like to alternate their calisthenics strength workout with other stuff, this is also an ideal training frequency. It's also the plan I first got started in 2012 and got my first newbie gains, made my first progress with calisthenics. And the way you want to structure this plan is having each workout consist of the same movement patterns and exercises. This is an outline of how I would structure it nowadays, of how I coach my trainees. You start with a vertical pull, moving on to a vertical push, a lower body knee dominant exercise, a horizontal pull, horizontal push, a lower body second exercise. This is a hip dominant one, and finishing off with a supine core exercise that focuses more on the deep abdominal wall. I'll explain more about this, why you want to focus on a supine core exercise here. The order of the exercises is not carved in stone. You can switch things around, as I'll explain with you soon, based on what is more practical for you, based on what are the exercises you want to focus on. My recommended exercises here are pull-ups, pike push-ups, or handstand push-ups if you're more advanced, wall sits, or any other plyometric exercise. The reverse Nordic curl is an exercise that I also enjoy adding nowadays here, especially for people who want to strengthen their knees. Moving on to inverted rows, or the full bodyweight row for more advanced trainees. Next, we have push-ups or chest dips. These are my 2 favorite horizontal push ones. Moving to something like glute bridges or single leg hip hinges, or Bulgarian squats. If you do them leaning more forward, I'll share some more information for that, how to make your Bulgarian squats be more hip dominant. And again, finishing with any hollow body variation. As you know, this is my favorite supine core exercise. I think it's really superior than anything else. There are a lot of different ways you can make this exercise challenging. I also have a detailed tutorial on that. I'll include that below as well. When it comes to exercise order, the main idea is that you alternate from a pull to a push, or a push to a pull. You have a lower body exercise in between these, and you finish off with a core exercise. Now, since you'll tend to invest more effort on the exercises that are higher up in order, especially the first one, I also recommend alternating the exercise you start with from workout to workout. If you want to focus on different exercises, for example, what I would do if I was following this plan would be to start with chest to bar pull-ups on Monday, handstand push-ups on Wednesday, and gymnastic ring dips on Friday, since these are typically the most challenging upper body exercises for me, but also for most people, I guess. And therefore, these are the exercises that you want to prioritize since they deliver the most bang for your buck. Or if there's one exercise you're struggling with, an exercise that you still haven't got really good at, let's say you want to master pull-ups, you're still doing these with the assistance of a band, you can also prioritize that. Start with that exercise basically with every single workout until you master it. After that you can start also rotating other exercises to the top, other exercises you want to get better at. Okay, so little side note regarding core work before we move on to rest sets and other basic stuff like that. The reason I recommend supine related core exercises, basically exercises you can do on your back without using your arms, is because you're already including so much upper body work in these kinds of routines, when you're using these kinds of training frequencies, and therefore adding stuff that are taking even more energy of your arms, of your upper body, will take the edge of exercises that you want to focus on. For example, if you're doing a plank and then you're moving on to a row or push-ups, you're still tired. Your arms haven't gotten that much quality rest in between exercises, and this is why I recommend that if you want to add more stuff like hanging leg raises, for example, or advanced planks, I recommend that you do that at the end of the workout. Once you're done with all these exercises, you incorporate these additional exercises as what I like to call superset or tricep finishers. When it comes to rest, you can do this plan in a linear fashion, meaning starting with your pull-ups, finishing those, moving on to your pike push-ups, finishing those, moving on to the next exercise, and so forth. But that takes a lot of time, and this is already a long workout. I'm guessing a lot of you don't have like 90 minutes to 2 hours to train per day. So what I recommend instead is that you structure these workouts as stretched out circuits with 20 to 30 second breaks between strength exercises and 30 to 45 breaks between more dynamic stuff, if you're including things such as plyometrics, for example. Between rounds, I recommend 4 to 5 minutes of active rest. Either that's walking around, or if you like to turn this into a more calisthenics workout, you can do 5 to 7 minute jogs. If you don't know what calisthenics are, I'll include a tutorial below, but it's basically a way to combine cardio and calisthenics in one workout. Of course, also keep in mind that this requires that you are in decent shape cardiovascularly. So volume-wise, I recommend that you start with 2 rounds of this routine 3 times a week, as we said, if you're a beginner, and gradually progress to 3 or even 4 rounds. 4 rounds I would recommend more for people under 30, people in their early 20s. It's a lot of training volume, so ideally keeping this around 3 rounds works best for most people. As we said, you can also have finisher supersets at the end of your workout. If you want to add some extra work like grip strength, additional core work, as we mentioned previously, what you can do is you can add a couple of supersets or trisets if you include more exercises. If you want to add like 3 exercises as finisher sets at the end of the workout, I wouldn't recommend adding more than 3 additional exercises here. What I would do, my favorite way to end this routine would be basically finishing with a superset of single arm dead hangs for grip strength and 1 arm and 1 leg planks. Obviously you can adjust it to your level, but adding some grip strength and adding some additional core work at the end. If you have the time, it's great. If you don't worry. Like the main value from this workout comes from the exercises that I included above. And yeah, this covers training 3 times per week. Hey guys, so today's video ended up being quite long, which is why I split it in 2 parts. Part 2 will be coming up next week if you're watching this the day it airs, or if you're watching this in the future, you'll find a link to part 2 in the top pin comment below. That is also where you're going to find a link to my free over 30 calisthenics community. This is also where you'll find all these workout splits in detail and a lot of other helpful materials. That was all for today. If you have any questions about the 3-day split, make sure you leave them below. And until next time,